Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we are on almost, I can't believe it's been episode 9 of Evolve. We're almost getting to that 10 one. Basically, what I'm feeling at 10, I kind of want to go like a little bit of a deeper dive and kind of rate everybody and stuff. But I kind of feel like after 10 episodes, it's kind of be good, especially because I think like they're going to have an announcement on that 10th episode, and I think it's going to be a little bit more significant. So that's gonna be cool. Plus, if you're watching NXT on top of all this, a lot of the people from Evolve are gonna be in that big battle royale for the men's side of things, which is kind of cool that we get to see them on the main roster, or like, I guess the developmental roster to the developmental. But yeah, let's just jump into episode 9. I think it was a pretty interesting four matches that they chose. We had Zeta Still and Layla Diggs right off the bat. I thought this match was actually really well timed. The issue again, it's just like I feel like it's nitpicky for me, so I guess it's maybe not everybody else's thing, but it's just like let them get to that 5 minute threshold so they can get cage matched. Like I know I might be the only one that really cares about that. I could be wrong. You have to tell me in the comments, but like I feel like that's kind of like a big staple of wrestling is to get that 5 minute mark and then you can get it rated. And because I would love to do like I try to use cage match, but like it's like okay, well there's only one match that most of the time I can, and so like there could easily have been time for that. They could have either cut that section of the Kayla Armstrong thing and just made that like a Twitter post, and that's where they should put a lot of their like vignette type stuff. Is they could put it up on Twitter, but I don't think they even use a Twitter stuff like that where they could just give those extra seconds to this. And this match would have probably actually been a lot better. I'm glad Zeta still finally got a win. I feel like she was, I think, like the second biggest name from like the ID program. Obviously, she was the first ID signing, and having that first loss was kind of wild, especially her being in that faction. So I'll put her up in B. I thought that match was pretty good. Next up, we had Freedom Ramsey, and I completely forgot the other guy's name against Tyson DuPont and Tyrese. Is it Iwa guy? I always forget it, but they're calling him I think like TNT now or something like that. Obviously they're a bigger tag team on NXT and coming down here, kind of facing just a bunch of randos. It was kind of a very random match. I thought it was semi enjoyable. There wasn't really much to it. It was only about 4 minutes long. I put it in C. I'm glad it was on the show, but I definitely feel like if you would have gave that extra time to Zeta and then gave a little bit of time for the main event, I think that probably would have made the show better. But to get more talent in there, I don't think it was that bad to put onto the show. Next up, we had this kind of like promo interview. I feel like it like her character, Callie Armstrong's character, is just like a badass like and does that, and then you just kind of like humanize her by asking her regular questions. Just kind of feels more like an athlete type thing instead of like wrestling. Like it kind of just feels like it screws with her character. I didn't personally really like this. I'm gonna put it down in D. I just feel like they could have definitely just got rid of that section. It was a good couple minutes that you could have really added to the other matches to make them better and just being able to get on the cage match. Next up, we had the Wendy Chu match versus Kylie Ray. I feel like this was actually one of those matches that had like a little bit of story that they've kind of been building up with the like teddy bear that actually was Kylie Ray's kids. I kind of like at the very end. I thought the match was good, and then like the whole like the ripping of the teddy bear distracted her enough. I thought that was okay. I feel like this match could have definitely been the main event if on any other show. It just felt like um, there was a lot of building up to it compared to some of the other storylines. But I think the match was pretty good. I think Wendy Chu, if you just let her do her gimmick, she's really good. I feel like she should be one of those characters that like just kind of steamrolls people and like does that, but like has no attention to go for the title. So like you don't have to worry about putting the Evolve title on her if there's going to be an Evolve title, which I'm pretty sure what the last part is going to be announcing next week. But I feel like that's kind of the thing with her. Like she's just solid and she's good in the ring. She has some good gimmick, a good thing like that. She just should be kind of like an enforcer, and she has a random target that she goes after every so often and then just destroys them, and then eventually that target beats her and then she moves to a different target, kind of like a sleep paralysis demon or something. Which I think is what they're doing here with Kylie Ray, but I think that's what they should stick with Wendy Chu. I think that would make her a lot better, get her a good couple wins under her belt, because she'd win like two and then lose one. If she just did that with pretty much everybody, I think that would be pretty solid. I'll put this match up in B. I think the story helped it go up there. The match itself was pretty solid. I didn't think anything bad about it. Next up, we had Kiana Carver and Harlem Lewis versus Swipe Right. It was supposed to be the big monsters versus the best tag team, which is always kind of weird when they have like the two biggest dogs coming together and like going against like the legitimate tag team. It's always kind of feels like the legitimate tag team loses. It's just kind of like, why? I know they're like badasses and stuff, but they could easily just turn on each other, which they're eventually going to anyways. And they could have just done that. But I think overall it was a pretty fun main event. I think the story that they're telling is pretty good. I really wish that Swipe Right would have run, even though I'm not a huge fan of that vanity project altogether. I still think like for what they were going for, they should have won. And then it looks like Harlem Lewis and Kiana Carver has Dallas next week, maybe because they wanted them to. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But I guess like if they stay as a tag team and eventually get on the same page, maybe it'll be cool. They could definitely run the table there with that. So I guess we'll see how that goes. I'll put it up an A. I thought it was pretty solid. Last but certainly not least, we had a town hall, a major announcement that will be next week. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the titles. I'm going to be honest. If it's not the titles or like a tournament to crown the titles, I think it'll be really bad. I think that the announcement would be pretty bad. But I think overall, I think I'd put that up into S just because I'm excited for the titles. I would have to possibly change it if it's not the titles because I don't think there's anything else I can announce that would be me super pumped. But yeah, I think episode 9 was a solid B. I think it's, one of the better ones. I think the wrestling itself inside of it was not the worst, but not the best. I feel like there was other episodes that had better wrestling in it. I think the stories that they're building up and the factions and the tag teams, I think are all looking pretty nice. I mean, we're only 9 episodes in. If you think of like WWE 9 episodes in of like a lot of years and stuff, they have trouble getting started, and I think this is doing pretty good. I think them getting that extra look on NXT will be good and also bad because I feel like if anybody really gets like that, all of a sudden everybody wants that person and they want to call them up. That could really hurt Evolve's pecking order if they lose a lot of people. But I guess it would also work for NXT and make them better because the men's division NXT is solid, but is still kind of struggling to not have. It's like a power vacuum. I think the top, like the two spots where all the titles are fine, but everything else is just kind of wonky. So I guess we'll see how that goes. And yeah, if you like this episode, we do this every Thursday, the day after Evolve. We do SmackDown, we do Raw, and we do a bunch of other like tier lists and fun videos. And there'll always be something up every day on this channel. So until the next time, this has been Japan, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.